Morning, everyone. Thanks. I'm Kevin Yao from Micas Lightworks. So Micas is actually a new member of DENT. Maybe Liu is the member. So thanks everyone for helping us to get into the organization. So we want to make contributions to this organization. So yeah, let's get started with this introduction to DENT. So actually, Vincent prepared this slide. I will just take his credibility to do the presentation. So back to the DENT. So basically, DENT is a Linux Foundation project. I think Jason and a bunch of other steering members, initialized this project a couple years ago. And it's not just operating system. It's actually ecosystem, including software, of course, hardware. I mean silicon, switch silicons. Supporting and even testing stuff, for the community. Okay, but however, there's a lot of applications for DENT already, as you can see from the picture. DENT can be used for edge gateway, which is something Micas Lightworks is working on. I mean, we work with Amazon for this edge gateway kind of products, desktop style, and also dentOS can be used for PoE switches, as well as other equipments like sensors, IoT devices. It's a whole bunch of equipments can utilize this kind of a great dentOS operating system. Okay, so talking about the DENT missions. So basically, we want to create an ecosystem. So as I just mentioned, it's just the software itself. So it includes switch ASICs, vendors. I mean hardware vendors, as well as other testing, supporting kind of functions as well. So we want to create such kind of ecosystem for the dentOS system. Also, as I mentioned, this project starts from Linux Foundation. However, there's a lot of work, collaboration between the Linux, the DENT organization, and also another project, Sonic project. Recently we're talking about utilizing Psi, for the dentOS. So it's pretty much an open source kind of collaboration between different projects. We want to promote participation, from different industry partners. For example, Micas as a great example, right? So we're a new member for this organization, and we also, I think it's a lot of participation already. So name a few. Amazon, Marvel, and Amazon. I think work with NVIDIA. I think previous Mellanox, before for this kind of ecosystem. And another thing is, DENT wants to create a nature, home for every participant. Right? Because we have multiple ASIC vendors, we have multiple, hardware, providers. So basically, we're hosting, meetings, technical committees, those kind of discussions. So it will be a nature home for every participant. For this page, we want to talk a little bit on components, key components. So basically, on the top, DENT is, from the Linux, community. So switch dev is basically oriented from the Linux kernel, very well maintained by Linux Foundation. So and of course, for the silicons, we have a bunch of selections. We have Marvel already. I mentioned the Mellanox, and I think recently we're also working with Broadcom. We want to work with them on the silicon, also the switch side kind of activities as well. In terms of hardware, so not just some of the networking switches I mentioned. For example, Micas switches, desktop switches. We also have other hardware, for example, cameras, IoT devices, or even the entrance and the exit gate, can be one of the hardware to utilize this kind of DENT operating system. And another side for the software, so definitely it's a networking operating system, but we provide some of the telemetry configuration and also the provisioning, right? So those are tools, maybe you can utilize the Amazon AWS cloud services. And it doesn't mean it has to be just Amazon, right? It can go to Google Cloud, Microsoft Azure, so a bunch of the selections. And the last one, at least, supporting. So it's a community you can support, different developers. Or even as end users. It's not just Amazon. Right? We are talking about other end users and the other, user cases from a different industry. So we'll provide, fully support for different, applications, supporting as well. Next page. A few highlights on the benefits to using utilize DENT. So basically the first one is you can reduce the integration time. So once you have the hardware ready, for example, you got a box from Micas or other ODMs, to integrate, DENT, it was just like a couple of days or maybe a couple hours. So it highly reduced, the integration time, so which saves efforts for end users or customers. And I probably mentioned many times, so it's, we have a wide access to different hardwares. Multiple hardware supporting from different vendors, already name a few. And also there's great support from existing Linux tool. So of course the projects originated from the Linux project, Linux Foundation project. So it's a very mature community. We have a lot of selections of tools or developers, from the already mature Linux Foundation community. And basically, we are creating a common platform for management tools across different type of devices, not just the networking device, also some of the edge gateway, as well as IoT or other kind of equipments too. Oh, this is my favorite page. So in terms of hardware and software distribution and networking, so as you probably know, Micas works on not just the enterprise switch. We are also working on a bunch of data center switches too. As you can probably remember, maybe 10 years or 20 years ago, if you need to buy a Cisco switch, Cisco makes everything. They have their own switch ASIC, they make their own hardware and provide their NOS, and other applications as well. So it's a very close, hardware and the software kind of integration. So basically, you probably don't have a choice, if you want to use a Broadcom silicon or you want to use a Marvell silicon. So you don't have such kind of flexibility. So that's pretty much combined or constrained, for the selections. However, when more players coming to the industry, not just for the data center switches, also for the enterprise as well. So I try to disaggregate, the hardware from, the first step, hardware from the software, networking operating systems. And as now, we all even talk about the modularized design. As you can see, hardware was like basically provide the hardware functions, and we have hardware abstractions, NOS abstractions, and even another layer on network apps kind of supporting as well. So the industry has been changed quite significantly, and I think most of the benefits is to saving the cost. Once you have everything disaggregated, you will be opportunity to select from different vendors, work with different partners. So it will be very flexible and cost saving. All right. So a little bit more on the dentOS itself. So this dentOS, as I mentioned, is originally from the Linux very mature community. It's a new kind of selection for the Linux to implement for the dentOS. And we provide a free download, low cost. You can get it from the GitHub, for the switch dev, our dentOS, free download. And you can install, binary, files if you want. And if you need to get a few boxes from us, from the community, we can definitely support, so you can play with it. Some of the benefits as well. So time to market already mentioned. So basically it's already available in different hardware platforms. So you can get a recommendation from us, from the community. So if you want to select some, so it will be a very quick turn for you implementation. So you can be just very ready for the time to market. Quality-wise, so the community has developed, both I think Amazon and the Keysight working together already developed a lot of test cases. It's automatic tests. You can get a license. Or you can wants to have hardware equipment for the testing as well. And to be honest, this quality-wise, it has been deployed. In a larger scale. Amazon has deployed for the physical stores, for the other, applications, use cases. And the most important or critical thing is about the cost, right? As I mentioned, if you want to do like a data center switch, you buy either the Cisco NOS or you can get a Sonic from Broadcom or from other stuff. It's a lot of cost. If I remember correctly, a box maybe cost $2,000, $3,000. NOS itself, maybe the subscription could be a few hundred or even more than 1,000, right? So it's a lot of cost to you guys. But however, for DENT, it's no SDK licensing. No software license agreement. It's a free download, and you have some support from us. And it's definitely open source, kind of community driven. So we have our technical community. Taras was running some of the stuff too. Anyway, and also we, I think a couple months, maybe half years ago, we set up the end user kind of group. So we got more feedback or inputs, from end users. So it's totally a community driven kind of open source project. I think I have finished all the presentations. I'm just maybe pause here to have some questions. And maybe Vincent can help me too, for some of the questions. Anyone? All right. If no questions, pass to back to Australia. Thank you.